The office felt louder when I was the only one left in it. You'd think silence would be quiet, but it isn't. Not when the overhead lights hum with a faint electric buzz. Not when the vents sigh through the ceiling like a tired breath. Not when the tick of the wall clock sharpens with every passing second. Silence, when I'm alone, becomes a kind of pressure. It presses against me the way stale air fills a room with no open windows. My desk lamp cast a yellow pool of light on the papers in front of me. Everything beyond that circle was shadow. Rows of empty desks, chairs tucked in or left askew, screens dark. It looked less like an office and more like an abandoned set after the actors had gone home. Except I was still here, the only one who hadn't left. Beside me sat a cardboard coffee cup. The steam had long since vanished, leaving behind only the smell of burnt bitterness. I lifted it, hoping for warmth, but the liquid inside was cold, flat, the rim pressed against my lips like paper instead of comfort. I set it back down. The sound of cardboard tapping the wood echoed in the hollow room. I shifted in my chair. It creaked, loud in the stillness. My body was heavy, aching from hours of sitting. My shoulders curled forward, my spine stiff, but I didn't move to leave, because leaving would mean admitting the day was over, admitting I hadn't done enough. I stared at the computer screen, words blurred, paragraphs bleeding together. My brain skimmed the same line 3 times, and still couldn't absorb it. Fatigue wrapped around me like a heavy blanket, but beneath it, loneliness crawled deeper. I glanced across the room at the scattered chairs, some pushed neatly under desks, others left angled out like their owners had fled mid-conversation. They were empty now, silent witnesses to my self-imposed vigil. Each one seemed to whisper, "You're the only one left." I whispered back, just to hear a voice in the room, even if it was only mine. Is anyone even here? The answer was the hollow tick of the clock. And in that moment, loneliness wasn't just an emotion, it was physical. It was in the way the air felt thicker without laughter breaking it. It was in the way my chest ached, as if pressed down by the absence of others. It was in the way the office walls seemed wider, stretching away from me, leaving me smaller in the center. I used to think staying late proved my dedication. Tonight, it just proved my distance. I convinced myself that hustling alone proved my strength, but it only proved my loneliness. That's what I've been taught to believe. Strength is independence. Success is solitary. Hustle harder. Don't lean on anyone. If you need help, you're weak. If you ask for support, you're exposed. So I bought into it. I wore exhaustion like a badge of honor. I stacked hours as if quantity equaled worth. I said yes to everything and no to rest. And I told myself, if I can survive it alone, I'll prove I belong. But here's the truth. Hustling alone didn't make me stronger. It made me brittle. Do you ever feel unseen in your workplace? Do you ever keep grinding, hoping someone will notice, but fearing they never will? Do you convince yourself no one has your back, so you stop reaching out at all? That's where I've been. I think about earlier seasons of my life. In school, I was the student who stayed up late perfecting projects, working quietly in my room while others collaborated. Group assignments terrified me. Not because I couldn't contribute, but because I didn't want anyone to see my uncertainty. Better to handle it all myself than risk being judged. Later, in my first jobs, I carried the same pattern. I drafted emails no one asked for. I volunteered for late hours. I avoided asking for clarification, thinking it would make me look unprepared. I convinced myself that going it alone was noble, that solitude meant strength. But the deeper truth is this: solitude became isolation, and isolation grew heavy. Tonight, surrounded by empty chairs, I see it clearly. These seats aren't just furniture. They're symbols of absence. Each one could hold a colleague, a conversation, a shared idea. Instead, they're vacant. Not because no one exists, but because I've chosen absence over connection. I tell myself it's about proving I can handle it. But if I peel back the layers, it's about fear. Fear that if I reach out, no one will reach back. Fear that if I show need, I'll lose credibility. Fear that if I lean, I'll fall. And so I stay late, convincing myself that solitude is strength, when it's really self-protection turned poison. I think about a line I once read: "No one builds alone. Even the strongest houses need a team." At the time, I nodded, underlined it, believed it. But living it, that's harder. Because walls feel safer than bridges, and hustle culture rewards the wall. But as I sit here, surrounded by shadows and silence, the illusion cracks. What I thought was strength is only distance. What I thought was discipline is only detachment. And the longer I stay in this chair, the more obvious it becomes. No one thrives in isolation, not even me. I told myself I was too tired to go. The networking event was circled in my planner. Bold ink, highlighted yellow. A reminder that this was the night I was supposed to show up, to shake hands, to be visible in the rooms where decisions are made. I had even picked out a dress that morning, laid it neatly on the bed, as if putting it there would guarantee I followed through. But when the time came, I didn't leave the office. The clock on the wall told me it was almost 6, then 7. My phone buzzed with reminders, and still, I sat at my desk, whispering the same excuses on repeat. I'm exhausted. I'll go next time. It's not a big deal if I miss one. Nobody will notice anyway. So I stayed. Outside, the sun sank, taking with it the hum of the city as people headed home. Inside, the office emptied, one desk at a time, until the silence pressed in like a weight on my chest. My coffee went cold, untouched. My body slumped in the chair, limbs heavy with fatigue. But I couldn't move, not to go, not to stay with purpose, just trapped in between. And then the thought loop began. No one cares. No one will miss me. I'm invisible. The tick of the clock became sharp, like an accusation. Every second shouted, "You should be there. You should be with them. You should matter." But I wasn't, and I didn't. I lowered my head onto the desk. The wood was cool against my forehead. My arms folded beneath me, shielding my chest like armor. My breath left foggy little circles on the desk surface, fading as quickly as they formed. I wanted to believe this choice. Skipping the event was about rest. But if I'm honest, it wasn't. It was fear disguised as fatigue. Fear of walking into a room full of polished confidence and feeling like an imposter. Fear of standing alone in a crowd, unnoticed. fear of proving that my absence wouldn't matter at all. I thought about past times I had done this, avoided the party, skipped the call, declined the meeting, each time telling myself I didn't need it, that my independence was strength. But the truth is, each choice carved out another brick in the wall around me. Tonight was just one more layer. The chairs in the office looked different now. No longer neutral, they leaned toward me like silent judges, empty but accusing. Each one a seat I could have shared with someone, a conversation I could have had, an opportunity to connect that I had traded for solitude. I whispered into the shadows, "This is proof I don't belong, proof I'm on my own." And for a moment, I believed it. Loneliness didn't just sit beside me. It wrapped around me, squeezed my chest, filled my throat. It felt permanent, like a sentence I couldn't appeal. I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe this is how it will always be. Me, alone in the corner, invisible. And the silence of the office, broken only by the ticking clock, seemed to agree. But then, my phone buzzed. At first, I ignored it. I didn't want another email reminder, another late-night task, another obligation. But the glow of the screen pulled my eyes. I reached for it, half annoyed, half curious. It was a message, short, simple, from a colleague I rarely spoke beyond polite greetings in the hallway. "Hey, didn't see you tonight. Hope you're doing okay. You've been working really hard." That was it, just a few words, but my breath caught, my throat tightened, my eyes stung. Because in that small text, the story I'd been telling myself, no one cares, no one notices, I'm invisible, cracked wide open. I sat up slowly, holding the phone like it was fragile. I read the words again and again. Each time, they landed with more weight. Someone noticed, someone cared, someone reached back. It wasn't a grand gesture. It wasn't a crowd cheering or a spotlight shining. It was one message, one thread of connection, and it was enough to remind me that invisibility was never the whole truth. I whispered into the room, tentative, "I'm supported by others." The words felt strange in my mouth. My inner critic rushed to argue. "It's just one text. Don't read too much into it. You're still alone." But I read the message again. The warmth was undeniable. It held steady against the critic's voice. So I said it again, firmer. "I'm supported by others." This time, something shifted in my chest. A glow spread, not blazing, not overwhelming, but steady, like a candle flame, refusing to be snuffed out. And then I understood what I'd been missing all along. Support doesn't always look like a cheering crowd. It doesn't have to be loud or constant. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's one person noticing, one hand reaching back, one reminder that connection exists if I let it. I thought of the wisdom I'd once underlined. No one builds alone. Even the strongest houses need a team. Tonight, those words weren't theory. They were real. A text message became a brick in the foundation I thought I lacked. Proof that even I don't have to build alone. I leaned back in my chair. The office hadn't changed. The silence still hummed. The chairs were still empty, The clock still ticked, but inside me, something felt different. The silence no longer felt hollow. It felt spacious. The emptiness of the chairs no longer mocked me. They felt like invitations waiting to be filled. I read the message one last time, then let the phone rest in my hand, my lips curved into the smallest of smiles. I whispered once more, certain this time, I'm supported by others. And the truth of it filled me with warmth. After I read that message, I sat with it for a long time. The glow of the screen faded, but the warmth stayed. And then I wondered, what if I didn't just receive support? What if I practiced giving it? The idea felt simple, almost too small, but I remembered. Connection starts with one step outward. So, I decided to try. I picked up my phone again. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, stiff with hesitation. Who would I even write to? Would they think it was weird? Would they ignore it? The doubts crowded fast, threatening to pull me back into silence. But then, I thought about how much one short message had shifted me. Just a few words, nothing polished, nothing perfect, just honest. That was enough. So I scrolled through my contacts until I landed on a colleague I admired, but had never said it out loud to. My thumbs tapped slowly at first, awkward. Hey, I just wanted to say I appreciate the way you handled that meeting last week. You really made space for everyone's voice. It meant a lot. I stared at the screen, debating whether to erase it, but instead, I pressed send. The message flew off into the digital void, and my heart raced as if I'd leapt off a ledge. My palms tingled, my breath caught. Vulnerability has a way of making the smallest actions feel enormous. And then, relief, not because I expected a reply, but because I had reached outward. I had broken the wall of silence I'd built around myself. I whispered to myself, I'm not alone. The words felt truer now. My body softened in the chair. My shoulders loosened. My breath deepened. The act of giving connection anchored me more than waiting for it ever had. I pressed my feet firmly into the floor, feeling the fibers of the carpet against my soles. The ground beneath me reminded me, I am here. I am held. I am not floating alone. And for the first time in a long time, the office didn't feel like a cage. It felt like a place where connection could begin, even in small ways, even through the glow of a phone in my hand. You don't walk alone. That's what I carry with me now. Not because I'll never feel lonely again. I will. Not because hustle culture will stop whispering that strength means solitude. It won't. But because I have proof that support exists when I allow it. I'm supported. I say it when doubt creeps in. I say it when the chairs around me feel empty. I say it when the critic tells me I don't matter. I say it until the words settle into my bones. I'm supported. And each time I say it, the truth expands. Support isn't weakness, it's oxygen. Support isn't charity, it's survival. Support isn't extra, it's essential. Tonight, as I leave the office at last, I pass a cafe on the corner. The windows glow warm against the night. Inside, people laugh, talk, share stories across tables. Their voices blur into a hum of connection, a reminder that life is built together, not apart. I stop for a moment on the sidewalk, watching the lights spill onto the street. My chest swells with a mix of longing and gratitude. Longing for all the nights I've missed by staying behind my walls. Gratitude for the reminder that those walls can come down. I whisper it one last time, steady and sure. I'm supported. And I believe it. Even one hand reaching back is enough to remind me I'm not alone. As I turn to walk home, I carry the glow of those cafe lights with me. Proof that connection is never as far as I think. And tomorrow, I'll test it again. I'll send another message. I'll take another step outward, because community doesn't appear by accident. It grows, one gesture at a time. So I'm leaving myself with this question. Who can I reach out to this week? Whose name could light up on my screen because I chose to send a few words? Sometimes I think it's too small to matter, but I'm living proof. Even the smallest message can shift everything.